Welcome back to another episode of Sound Pals Go to the Movies. Today I will be reviewing the movie The Fabelmans. So just a fair warning, there's going to be spoilers up ahead, so you've been warned. Growing up in a post-World War II era Arizona, young Sammy Fabelman aspires to become a filmmaker as he reaches adolescence, but soon discovers a shattering family secret and explores how the power of film can help him see the truth. So let's begin with my first pro. The way this movie lets us see how Steven Spielberg came to find the love of filmmaking through a film is like a painter showing us paintings that show us how he discovered the art of painting. This is a nice format and enjoyable, but I am not talking about the story, nor the actors, just the simple fact of the form that he picked to tell us, or rather show us, the story through. Next is the cast. Well casted. I felt that both actors that were casted as the parents did a fantastic job, and the actor who played Sammy, or you can say Steven, actually showed a lot of emotions even when he didn't deliver any speech. For an example is when he was editing the camping trip film for his mom and begins to discover the secret. That is about a good few minutes of no dialogue, so it all depends on his facial acting and body movements that are talking to us and showing us how he's feeling through the discovery that he's making. Same thing is when he's showing his films to the audience and we see him not looking at his work, but rather the people and how they are reacting to it. And by doing that, we see him reacting to it, which is a way of showing emotions and feelings through just gestures. Since there were times when his body gestures were just telling us that he was either upset or sad during the showing of his films, that meant there was something deeper happening in his life. Even if the audience was laughing, he was screaming, telling us his true feelings, but with his body gestures. Also, amazing acting by Judge Herschel. I mean, this man knows how to move in front of a camera and hit his marks well. Next point, the message that this movie shows us of Sammy and how he discovers his first love, filmmaking, and how organic it feels from him recreating the train crash scenes from the first movie that he saw. And one interaction that really stood out between Sammy, played by Gabriel, and his uncle Boris, played by Judge Herschel, was when his uncle tells him that they are the same, that Sammy is an artist and that he will soon find out that he either chooses art or his family, and that he can't have both, and they are meant to suffer no matter which they pick. Just like how his mother in the scene is playing the piano and his uncle says, "Look at her, she is sad because she picked family over her passion." Then Sammy says, well, that she's been playing on TV and that, she's famous. But just like that, we notice that Sammy is not looking at his mother as a human. He's looking at her as an object. And the object is a person who has the duties of a mother and a wife and is not following her passion. By placing family first, she left her dreams behind. And that is what the uncle is looking. He's looking deep into her soul and her feelings and how she is expressing it through music, how she feels sad and unfulfilled. So after the conversation is when Sammy starts to see the world differently. He knows that he has his passion for filmmaking, but does he really want to grow apart from his family? And then he discovers the secret of his mother. Eventually, he sees his parents at the end as real people and accepts them with their flaws and everything. And he also finds his answer for his passion and what he really wants to do. And this leads me to my cons. So part of the story felt like there was more to it, more depth, but explaining it would be a sensitive subject for the director. But at the same time, isn't that what he's already doing, letting us inside his life? I wanted the film to start from before Sammy was born, or when his parents met, having them give up their dreams to create the family that we see. I wanted to create some bonds with the parents, so when we see Sammy reach the revelation later down in the movie, we are torn between Sammy and his parents, so we had to pick a side, but we still have that emotional bond with the parents. Another con was some parts seem to leave things out. For example, when Sammy sees his first movie, we don't see the sisters, but during Hanukkah, which is right after he sees the movie, we see them. So does this family take a kid out every so often while leaving the others behind? Or what's going on here? Things like these took me out of the film for a bit. I understand that the movie was mostly focused on Sammy, but hey, the sisters could have been there just in the background. They didn't have to do anything else. Also later, we don't see much of the siblings talking about mom and dad's issues until one of the sisters confronts Sammy in his room while he was editing. And that interaction I really enjoyed because it showed human emotions developing these characters and giving them more depth. So this brings me to the point, why couldn't we see them interact with each other as siblings, talking about their parents and what's going on in their family or what they are feeling at that certain point or junction in the story? This would have given the characters more depth, unless the whole film is supposed to be centered around Sammy, at which point I would have to say, then why have the sisters in the film at all? I feel the sisters could have been an additional support that Sammy could have used to express his feelings that he was keeping inside, or actually retain them and showing us, hey, why isn't he telling the sisters about this? So my final grade for the movie is going to be a low 8 out of 10. Loved how the movie was shot and told, and even the ending was really sudden, but still it held a really important message that I believe is what makes Steven Spielberg Steven Spielberg. And I also got a kick of having David Lynch play John Ford. This movie was well enjoyed by myself, a movie I highly would recommend to other people, but I'm not really sure if everybody will enjoy it as much as I did. So that does it for this review of The Fabelmans. Please join us next time when we are going to review Avatar: The Way of Water.
Outcast. That's all they see.
I see you.
Please like, comment, and subscribe. You can find our social media links below. And like always, keep watching movies.